I had just settled into my evening ritual, sinking into my worn-out couch with a cold beer in hand, when my phone buzzed against the coffee table. The screen lit up with an unfamiliar number. I sighed, already bracing myself for another scam call. Probably someone trying to sell me auto insurance I didn't need, or announcing that I had won some bogus lottery prize. My first instinct was to ignore it, to let it ring until the silence reclaimed the room. But something held me back. Maybe it was the stillness of the house, the monotony of another uneventful day. Maybe it was simple curiosity. Against my better judgment, I grabbed the phone and swiped to answer. "Hello," I muttered, my voice rough from a day spent speaking to no one. The response hit me like a punch to the gut. A teenage boy's voice burst through the speaker, loud, angry, brimming with resentment. "It's me, Liam. Your son." I sat up straight, my grip tightening around the phone. "You ruined Mom's life with that divorce, and now you need to step up. Pay my child support. Cover my school expenses. Stop acting like you don't owe me anything." My mind went blank, like someone had yanked the plug on my thoughts. My son? What son? I didn't have kids. At least, I didn't think I did. My pulse pounded in my ears, and a cold sweat prickled the back of my neck. Was this a prank? A mistake? A quick, disbelieving laugh escaped me. "Pardon me? Who are you?" I asked, my tone edged with confusion. "I don't remember having a baby." Silence. I could hear his breathing, heavy, uneven, like he was trying to gather his thoughts. When he spoke again, his voice had lost its bite. "What?" That single word carried more weight than all his shouting. He sounded bewildered, like my reaction had shattered something inside him. I clutched the phone tighter, my knuckles turning white. Who was this kid? And why did he think I was his father? My brain scrambled for an explanation, but nothing clicked. I had spent years alone. No wife. No children. Just me and the quiet walls of this house. There had to be some mistake. "Look, kid," I said, keeping my voice steady even as my stomach twisted into knots. "I don't know who you are or what's going on, but I think you've got the wrong guy. I don't have a son named Liam. I don't have a son at all." I expected him to argue, to lash out again. But he didn't. The silence stretched between us, thick and suffocating. I could almost feel his confusion through the phone. My mind raced back through my past, searching for a gap, a lost moment where something like this could have happened. I had been married once, years ago. Sophia and I had never had children. Or at least, I had always believed we hadn't. Could she have hidden something from me? No, that didn't make sense. She had wanted a family. I had been the one hesitant. That was why we fell apart in the first place. "Liam," I murmured, testing the name out loud. It felt foreign, like it belonged in someone else's life. "Are you still there?" A shaky breath. Then, in a trembling voice, he spoke. "You're lying." This time, he didn't sound angry. He sounded desperate, like he was holding on to something he wasn't ready to lose. "My mom told me about you," he continued, voice unsteady. "She said your name is James. James Carter. That's you, right?" A chill ran down my spine. That was my name. I shot up from the couch, pacing now, my beer forgotten on the table. "Yeah," I admitted, my throat dry. "That's me. But I still don't know what you're talking about. Who's your mom?" He hesitated. I could almost hear the gears turning in his head, as if he wasn't sure whether to say it. Finally, he muttered a name. "Monica. Monica Evans." The words crashed into me like a freight train. Monica. I hadn't thought about her in years. Not since my marriage with Sophia imploded. She had been my secret, my mistake. The woman I had kept on the side while I was still married. But a kid? No. That couldn't be right. We had been careful. Hadn't we? My legs suddenly felt weak. I sank back onto the couch, rubbing a hand over my face as my mind reeled. "Monica's your mom?" I asked, needing to hear it again, needing to make sure. "Yeah," Liam snapped, the sharp edge returning to his voice. "And she told me you're my dad. So don't try to weasel out of this." I wasn't trying to weasel out of anything. I was just lost. If Liam was Monica's son, if he believed I was his father, that would make him, what? 14? 15? The timing lined up. Back when I was still seeing her. But she had never told me she was pregnant. Never said a damn word. Or had she? Had she tried? Had I ignored it, dismissed it, pushed it away as just another complication I wasn't ready to face? The memories from that time were hazy, excuses, selfish choices, running from responsibility. I took a breath, forcing my voice to stay steady even though I felt like I was unraveling. "Liam," I said carefully, "I'm not saying you're wrong. Okay, I just, I didn't know about you. If you really are my son, this is the first time I'm hearing about it. On the other end of the line, there was only silence. I wondered what was running through his mind. Was he angry? Scared? Did he even believe me? You didn't know? He finally asked, his voice raw, like he was struggling to wrap his head around it. No, I answered honestly. I didn't. Monica never told me. Silence stretched between us again, heavy and unyielding. Then a bitter chuckle, short, humorless. Terrific. Just great. So you're saying I've been yelling at you for nothing? I didn't know how to answer that. A part of me wanted to laugh, not because it was funny, but because the sheer absurdity of the situation begged for some kind of release. But there was nothing amusing about this. It was a mess, a tangled web of misunderstandings and buried truths, and I was standing right in the middle of it. Listen, I said, leaning forward as if he could somehow see me. I don't know what's going on, but I'm not going to hang up on you. Just tell me what you need. You mentioned child support and school costs. A sniffle. Barely audible, but it was there. He might have been crying. Yeah, he mumbled. Mom said you owe us. She said you left us high and dry after the divorce. I froze. Divorce? Monica and I had never been married. What had she been telling him? I pinched the bridge of my nose, feeling the slow creep of a headache pressing against my skull. Liam, I said carefully, I need you to slow down. Start from the beginning. What exactly did your mom tell you about me? I heard him inhale, long and shaky, as if bracing himself. And I braced myself too because I knew, without a doubt, that this conversation had already turned my night upside down. And I had a sinking feeling it was only the beginning. I could still picture the way her shoulders tensed, the way her breath caught for just a fraction of a second. Of course, she had said, her voice softer now, almost incredulous. So you knew he was married, and you didn't care? Monica cocked her head, studying Sophia like she was some kind of puzzle. I cared, she admitted, but not enough to stop. James made it pretty clear he wasn't happy with you. Why should I feel terrible about it? I wanted to sink into the floor. Sophia turned to me, her eyes ablaze with a mix of hurt and fury. Is that true? She demanded. Did you tell her I made you unhappy? I opened my mouth to deny it, but the lie wouldn't come. Not exactly, I said, fumbling. I don't know. I vented sometimes. It wasn't about you. But it was a weak defense, and she knew it. Sophia shook her head, then turned back to Monica. So what was the plan? She asked, her voice laced with disbelief. You two just keep this going forever? What about your baby? My head snapped up at that. Kid, I echoed, heart pounding. Yet Monica didn't even blink. She let out a low, dry laugh that made my skin crawl. Liam, she said, like it was nothing. Like his name was just another word, not a revelation that would change everything. Oh, he's mine, not James's. You really think he wanted kids? No way. Liam was a surprise. Just happened one day, and I figured, why not? James didn't sign up for that. My mind reeled. Liam. The name meant nothing to me then. Not like it would later. But hearing it slip so casually from Monica's lips sent ice through my veins. Sophia's gaze darted between us, her expression shifting from confusion to shock. You have a son? She asked, voice cracking. I stammered, turning to Monica. What are you talking about? You never told me you had a kid. Monica rolled her eyes. Didn't think you'd care, she said. You were pretty clear about not wanting a family. Sophia's hands clenched into fists on the table. I could see the pieces falling into place for her, the puzzle snapping together in the worst way. You told me you loved kids, she whispered, her voice breaking. You sat there, listening to me talk about wanting a baby. And all this time, you had one with her. The betrayal in her voice gutted me. I scrambled for something, anything, to fix this. I didn't know, I insisted, desperation creeping into my tone. I swear, Sophia, I didn't know about him. She just stared at me, grief pooling in her eyes. And I knew in that moment, that my silence, my ignorance, had spoken louder than any excuse I could offer. Monica leaned back, watching the scene unfold with a satisfied smirk. And I realized, with sickening clarity, that this meeting hadn't just broken Sophia. It had shattered whatever remained of us.